सद्योजातमुखोद्भूतं सद्यो वैभवदायकं सिद्धिदं सिद्धवृन्दस्य वन्दे श्रीरेणुकं गुरुम्. Namaste everyone, I am Someshwar Gurumath. Today I will be introducing you all to a book titled as Rebuild India. The book which is consisting the concrete ideas, the visionary thoughts that were given by Swami Vivekananda ji during his lifetime. A very small book of just 56 pages with 5 chapters. You can read this book in a one go. A very prominent book, I say, and I want every countryman who are living in this Bharat to at least read this book once in their lifetime. From a school-going boy to a policymaker, from an academician to a politician, I want everyone to go through this book. You may think why I'm emphasizing more and more upon reading this book is because the book is consisting such a pragmatic and visionary ideas that are still relevant in current times. And my dear friends, the book, though it is very short, it is carrying a very strong ideas. So let us know what actually Swamiji is trying to portray in this book. In the first chapter titled as The Nation Lives in a Cottages, Swamiji is trying to say, he wants to speak about the theme of a country. He says each nation has a theme. Every country in this world has a theme. And everything else is secondary than a theme, he's trying to say. It means in a simple terms, I will explain you. Like how, for a person, his guna, swabhava or guna dharma, what we call, comes first and everything else is secondary for him. His swabhava and his swadharma, how it must be given a first prominence in a similar way when it comes to a nation building process, when it comes to a country. He says even a country is having a theme on which a country must be developed or rebuilt. And India's theme is religion, social reform, and everything else is secondary. This is what Swamiji is trying to say. So what it means, even Swamiji has given the prominence for religion. He says specifically, India's theme means Bharat's guna dharma, Bharat's swabhava, and Bharat's swadharma must be religion, means dharma alone. Rest is secondary. Even in Purushartha, we give prominence more to dharma. And artha, kama and moksha comes next. We can draw an analogy. So, like this, Swamiji is beginning. And he also says that, he guides us in a very different way. Like how, imagine, only when a painter has a clear vision of what he is going to paint on a canvas, he will be able to draw it in a much beautiful way. Only when an engineer who has a concrete image or a concrete vision of how he is going to construct a building, he will be able to put a proper basement. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for him. In a similar way, a person who want to build Bharat, a person who want to rebuild India, even he should have a strong vision. So what kind of a vision he should have? Let us know Swamiji, what Swamiji is trying to say. He says that the poor in the West are devils. Oh, Swamiji is not very racial. He's trying to say this from a point of his personal experience. So he specifically says that every person in the Europe, he measures a personality by his outlook. But my countrymen are not like that. They are measuring with a guna and dharma or swabhava that a person carries with him. So that is why he is saying the poor in the West are devils, but our are angels. Therefore, it is much easier to raise ours. Means it is much easier to, help the poor people of Bharat to raise to a higher level of consciousness and social status and everything else. In every other respect, our masses are much more civilized than the European masses. This is what Swamiji was emphasizing. And he says, by giving the religion, dharma, a first position, the anusthana of the religion, the anusthana of dharma must be done in every other strata of the society. Only then we can progress, is what he's trying to tell. You know, uh, today we all discuss more and more about the caste systems. They're very rigid, they're evil in nature because of the caste system, because of the religion. Our country is lagging behind in the race. This is what we all say. But in reality, is it so? Is what even my question is, and is it and the same question has been posed by Swami Vivekananda also long back. So he says the caste system, the jati or the varna vyavastha, what India has is much more better when it is compared to the West. Because in the West, nobody can change their race, nobody can change their caste. But in Indian varna vyavastha, a person can raise to the higher consciousness, can raise to the higher level of varna by understanding his swabhava, his swadharma, and raising his consciousness. This is what indirectly he's trying to say through his words. So our varna vyavastha is not at all a rigid system like the West has. It is a very dynamic system where a person's varna is decided by his karma and his guna. This is what Swamiji is trying to emphasize here. And he says every other European social rules or social systems, they are built on the basis, or the values in such a way that the powerful people become more powerful. That all the rules must empower the powerful, not the people, those who are poor. But in my country, in my Bharat, all the social, rules or the systems are being trying to build on a basis to empower the poor. That is what is the difference between the West and my Bharat, is what indirectly he's trying to portray in the first chapter. But in the second chapter, Swamiji speaks about some of the great national sin that has been committed by Bharatiyas. So specifically, what he's trying to say, let us know. Every civilization in the globe, from Indian to Babylonian, Roman, Greek, all the civilizations have been built upon the working class. Has anyone cared more for working class in all these civilizations? Indirectly, he's asking, somewhere the civilizations, those who have been built on the working class, have they ever cared for them? So what was lost? He indirectly, no, he very directly he's asking the physical laborers, especially of Bharat, who cares about you? Who cares for you? Who have been cared for you? This is somewhere, we have lost the track. So he's mentioning what all the sins, in a nationalistic sense, that have been committed by Bharatiyas and how we can overcome. He explains about this in the further chapters. And he says, in his current time, the Bharat has become backward, the Bharat has become weakened only because Shakti is dishonored in Bharat. Means he's also talking about the women empowerment. He says, like how we say, "Yatra naristu pujyante ramante tatra devataha." The gods are pleased where women are held esteemed in a similar way. All these great ideas have been kept only in doctrine, but not in the practical life. Means we fail to implement it in a social. Social systems. This is what Swamiji is trying to say. And thirdly, he also says that today, whenever the discussions comes upon the conversions, the Hindus who are getting converted to Christianity, or Hindus who have got converted to Islamic religion. So when these questions spur up in the society, we know that some have happened forcefully. But along with that, Swamiji also gives a different vision. He says when he went to Madras, he observed Madras region, especially the Tamil Nadu region. He observed the pariahs are getting converted. In his own state, Bengal, many of the people got to the religion of Mohammedans just to get up from the zamindari system. So he's saying that okay, every blame we cannot put upon the invaders, or every blame we cannot put upon the people who have attacked us. There were also flaws in our systems, in our own vyavastha, that which could have been improvised, was what he's trying to tell here. And he specifically says there are two curses here. The first is our weakness, second is our hatred, our dried up hearts. You may talk doctrines by millions, you may have sects by the hundreds of millions, but it is nothing until you have heart to feel. Feel for them as your Veda teaches you. Underline the term, your Veda teaches you. Till you find they are parts of your own bodies, till you realize that you and they, the poor and the rich, the saint and the sinner, are all parts of one infinite whole, which you call Brahman. See the great idea Swamiji is trying to, put forward through his speeches. Again, in the third chapter, these all are the sins in a nationalistic sense we have committed. So what can we do to overcome these sins? These ideas are also given by Swami Vivekananda. He gives different plans. Firstly, he says provide the countrymen with individuality, the lost individuality. Only then we can raise the masses. Means provide the country the idea of svatva. Svatva, indirectly, he is trying to say only then an individuality or the masses can be raised. And secondarily, he also says I am the great reformer. I do not want to reform a little bit here and there. I want to reform it from the root and branch, from the level of root and branch, because he believes in growth more than the reform. He believes in the idea of construction than the method of destruction. So this is where Swamiji differs from many of the philosophers of the West and also of our own countrymen. And Swamiji, by giving these ideas, he also gives a solution. He says the solution to uplift this country does not lie in bringing down the higher down. He says the solution can lie only when the lower level people can be raised to the higher level of strata in the society. This country can be built. See what a beautiful idea Swamiji is trying to say. And he also says the three things that necessary to make every man great and every nation great. So what are these three things that Swamiji is trying to say? The first is conviction of the powers of goodness, and the second is absence of jealousy and suspicion, and the third thing is helping all who are trying to be and do good. See, these are the three things what he is trying to say. Again, I will repeat it. Conviction of the powers of goodness, absence of jealousy and suspicion, and thirdly, helping all who are trying to be and do good. With these three steps, he says every man and every nation can become great. So in the end, he also says Atmavat Sarva Bhutani, the same great Virat Swarupa of the Brahman. What is lying in the universe is also lying in every individual on the earth. So that is why we have to worship every man, every living animal, is what he is trying to say. It is not just Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. It is also Daridra Devo Bhava, Dina Devo Bhava. When we help the poor people of this country to rise up above their level of consciousness, above their level of social strata, only then we can really rebuild India. And in the end, as he says, arise, awake, and stop not until you reach your goal. That is what is the final suggestion that even I want to give to my countrymen. Never stop until you reach your goal. And our goal should be towards rebuilding my Bharat to the greatest glories that it had seen in its past. Namaste. Dhanyavada.
सदा विवेकानन्दमयं सुविवेकमयं स्वामी